NFL Week 1 predictions, or more specifically, my NFL Week 1 predictions. I am currently considering what I should work on, or not what, but how I can work on the season ones, and I might do one right after this. The goal is to do it in this format, and then upload it to YouTube on the secondary channel, which is under the title of Phantasm Plus at the moment. Being here. Let's get down to it. We got week 1 opening game is the Ravens and the Chiefs. I don't think the Ravens are going to be that good. I do think they're okay. I do think the Ravens are going to be very good. But I don't think the Ravens are going to be that good out the gate because there's a little bit of some injuries that just seem like they might linger a little bit. The Chiefs at home to start the season. You can ask the question, are the Ravens better than the Lions were last year? But it would be... my gut says the Chiefs. I like the Ravens a lot, but I don't think that they're going to win week 1. The Patriots... No. Patriots not beating the Bengals. Bengals get a really easy week 1 dub. I can find it where I was going to say. You may have noticed the things around my face. I don't know how to get rid of that. I'm recording on my actual camera. My DSLR is the term. I have a camcorder with the worst quality that would, I think, be less of this, so I might fiddle with that. It might be what I do the other videos with. I don't know yet. I know it doesn't look as good from far as this one would, but up close, and you can tell. Jaguars, Dolphins, I paid the Jags. Real easy. Dolphins are injured right now. Dolphins are recovering. I don't know the status of Jalen Phillips at the moment, but I do know that I don't know he is at least practicing, but I don't think he's ready to play yet. I don't know though. They are injured and young at the best with Chop Robinson at edge. I don't think their defense is going to be able to keep up. They're missing Wilkins, who left for Los Angeles, no, for the Raiders, Las Vegas. I think they're going to be missing him more than they expect to, or at least more than they're willing to admit it. The Jaguars should be a good team on offense. They should be able to get a little bit more explosive, because I think that the rookie should be able to capitalize on things that didn't work out. I don't say bad when California's in. It's kind of like 50-50s. It's kind of ended up being not as much 50-50 in their favor, and I think it would go back from being a young guy's favor with Robinson there, or Thomas there, sorry. I do think the Jags defense is actually going to be very good because they were decent last year. They had good pieces, and the head coach or the defensive coordinator is coming over from the Falcons last year, and I'm a Falcons fan. I've never seen the Falcons have such a good defense. I've never seen the Falcons defense will them to win games. Okay, there was a few games during 2017 I saw that, but not really much. I saw that most games last season. I've never seen the defense be that well organized, that well put together, and just formidable, starting from the front. We didn't have great edge. We did still get pressures, and the interior of our defensive line was incredible. And if you look at the Jaguars, their D-line is incredible. It's more so the edges than they are the interior. But if he can bring out good interior play from the weaker bit there and make the rest of it also better, I think the defense is going to be crazy good. I'm high on the Jags. The team I'm high on is the Texans. I was high on them last year. Going into the season, I expected them to make the playoffs. I didn't necessarily think they would win the division. I thought they might. I can't remember if I did predict that or not. But regardless, I did think that they'd be a good team, so that I kind of adopted them as one of my AFC teams. And also, and the reason why I've adopted them as one of my AFC teams is whenever I see a highlight with them, I kind of immediately think it's the Falcons, just because how similar their uniforms are. Their uniforms look like what the Falcons were supposed to be. Because I don't hate Atlanta's current uniforms, I think they deserve a change whenever they get the opportunity again, not necessarily immediately, but pretty quickly. The Texans got better at edge. They had two defensive edges. They had two defensive ends. They lost one of them, but get two, lose one. I feel like that's a benefit. Your secondary seems to be playing better. They're retaining their offensive players. They added Stephon Diggs. Hopefully their offensive line can get healthier than that was last year and improve. So they have all the signs pointing upwards. They're an upward projecting team. Not doing. I think they're Super Bowl contenders. Not off the rip, because teams like Baltimore and Kansas City exist. Do I think that they can beat those two teams? Yes, but I do think that they still have to prove it and trudge through the season to be able to contend with them near the end of the year. And this is a game that's going to be harder than a lot of people expect. The Colts are a good team. The Colts, with Anthony Richardson, are a wild card team. They can be asked. They can be phenomenal. Depends on the week. Depends on the matchup. Depends on the scheme. It really just depends with them. Anthony Richardson had a phenomenal performance while he was there for the Texans, if I remember correctly, against the Texans, if I remember correctly. I don't want to pick the favorited team every week, and I am a Texans fan. My gut is saying to go with the Colts. I do want to pick the Texans. My gut is saying to go with the Colts. I'm undecided on this one. There's a lot of blue right here. Okay, I like that. Both green and blues. This is both blues. Get to the color theory. Texans or Colts. I think I'm gonna set the Colts just for the time being, but at the same time they don't have as much continuity. I'm gonna go with Colts. Just because I think that they might be able to consistently run the ball on the Texans. I don't know if they will, because I'm not a big Joe Mixon fan. I think he's an upgrade, but he's not like he's not making it so they can be a running first team. No, it makes it so they can be more competently run, but I think that's it. I think Chargers in this game. The Raiders' biggest strength, D-line. Chargers' biggest strength, with new coaching, it should be O-line. Might even be their defense too as a whole, but I think it's the O-line play. So O-line versus D-line. One of those two is going to be better, and at the same time, you can kind of be like, they wash each other out, because they're not necessarily going to be dominating the other, right? One might be a little better, but the other one's not going to be dominating by the other. We can't expect that, at least. So let's just say it washes. Now you go into the rest of the team. Defense, I think they're about equal, to be honest. But you go at the Raiders defense versus the Chargers offense. I think the Chargers offense is a little bit better. And if you go to the Chargers defense over the Raiders offense, I think the Chargers are a little bit better. I don't think it's going to be like an easy game for the Chargers, but I do think that this is one where they are well suited against their opponent. Then over here, we've got the Bears. I'm gonna pick the Bears. What? I'm gonna pick the Titans. I said Bears and I pressed Tennessee. Ravens win week 1. Hello, Mr. Real Adrian. What up, man? What up, Padre? I hope this is going well to all the viewers and all the potential viewers in the chat, which is new to me. Titans are a team that I'm higher on than the general expectation, because I really do think that they are going to be better at just about everything this year. Their defensive line should still be good. I don't expect him to be a phenomenal asset of the team, but Jeffrey Simmons is good enough on his own to make them competent. And then you got the secondary, which added a lot of players. Added Snead, L'Jarius Sneed. already were seeming like they're well built, minus the whole drafting of a injured corner and then him not working out after a few years thing. They also just traded for, was it Ernest Jones Jr.? Is that his name? Ernest Jones fourth, Ernest Jones, it's linebacker from the Rams. He is now over there, and so he's now the play caller there, which might take a minute for him to get fully integrated with the calling plays and whatnot. So maybe week one isn't the best time for the Titans defense, but but going to their offense, I don't expect Will Levis to be good. I do expect him to be okay, because I think they're going to try to be a run first team built through the O line, and then get pass plays off based on teams gearing to stop the run. I think they'll be okay at that too. Going to the Bears, I think they're going to be an all or nothing kind of team. They're either going to be super well run that week and put up a couple of points and get in your face on defense, or they are going to just kind of be a step behind every play. Like, Caleb's going to have his moments where he looks like the next Patrick Mahomes, and Caleb's going to have his moments where he's just like, oh yeah, that's a rookie. He's going to try and do too much. I wonder what just happened there. Okay. Let's see. We're going to try this again. Hold on. Back up to this comment. Hello, wow, you've been a fan for 4 years. That's real sweet. That's real sweet. You know nothing about football, but you're sat on this. I appreciate you being a partner. Going back to the football I was speaking about, Caleb's going to be phenomenal overall. I love Caleb, but I do think he's going to have to work out some bits around the edges, and he's going to have to kind of figure out what he can get away with. And obviously, he's not going to know that week one. He's going to get his plays off, and I do think he's going to get his plays off week one. I think we can expect at least 2 tutties, maybe even 3. Which 21 points, that's pretty good for. I do think he's also going to drop the ball a few times. Him or receivers that he doesn't necessarily put in the best position, trying to force things. Turnovers, I think, will happen, and I don't think the Bears' defense is good enough to not let those turnover plays or turnovers turn into points. Because I do think Bears turn it over, let's say twice. I think that's 10 points, maybe 14 points to the Titans. And I don't expect the Titans to turn it over as much as the Bears, because I like Pollard. Tajay's, I don't know his history with the ball, but he's a lighter back. And then Will Levis is a questionable runner, but he doesn't seem to be stupid, at least in terms of getting rid of the ball or throwing the ball, what have you. He's stupid with his body, but not with the ball, from what I've seen. So I'm picking the Titans. Steelers are missing their left guard. They're starting a rookie center, and they have questionable O-line play at the moment. I think one of their tackle is also playing bad. The new one, Roderick, is that correct? I might be misspeaking, but I think that's correct. I'm also a Falcons fan, so I'm gonna pick Atlanta. I think Ricky Morris knows how to out-scheme Arthur Smith, and I think he's known how to do that for a long time. And I think he's wanting to kind of, not say put on a show, but make a statement. Because the new OC for the Steelers is the former head coach for the Falcons. It's not necessarily bad blood per se, but like, I think there wants to be kind of some you're incompetent and you were the mistake choice for the job, because they both were trying for the same job and they chose Arthur Smith instead of Ricky Morris the first time. So I do think there's a little bit of competitiveness there. I'm picking Atlanta. I do think our matchup is also more favorable. Our D-line is good, despite what our edge group looks like, even after Judon. It's not stellar, but it is good. Our edge group is not good. Our edge group it's okay. okay, it has room to become good and also really good. But now Judon, take out Judon, and where we need some help. We drafted a edge I really like in the third round. However, he tore his ACL in the first preseason game, so we're missing him this year. At least we have Judon, and then we have our linebacker. We have the possibly best linebacking core in the whole league because we have 4 starting linebackers. We only use 2 pretty much. Sometimes we'll use 3. And then the secondary, cornerback 2 and 3 can be really good. Possibly, I like our cornerback 4, who will probably end up being cornerback 2 by the end of the year. Our safety group is probably the best in the league. So I do think we're going to be able to play solid on defense. Maybe not excellent, but definitely solid and definitely play kind of beat down on teams that are not well suited or not talented enough to keep us honest. And I do think the Steelers are going to be one of those teams offensively because wide receiver 1 is Higgins, who he's fine. He's not a number 1 receiver, but they're not an alpha receiver in terms of the league. He is a number 1 receiver in terms of his size and his production levels. He can do a lot. He can do fine, but he's not a one-man show. And I think he will put on a little bit of one-man show with Russ, because I think Russ is going to be turn him into Cortland Sutton-esque. Or what he did with Cortland Sutton last year, I should say. But outside of that, wide receiver 2 is Van Jefferson. And I mean it. Wide receiver 2 is Van Jefferson. Romo Wilson's hurt. Romo Wilson's also a rookie. I don't personally think he's excellent. O-line has issues right now going into the year. D-line was a little bit worse than normally expected it was last year, and Hayward's back, but he's old. He didn't look great last year. He might look better now that he's not, immediately off the injury, so who knows. But they added Patrick Queen to the linebacking more, so maybe he makes it more competent. Safeties, Megan Fitzpatrick. I do think that with our offensive additions of Kirk Cousins and Darnell Mooney, I think we can keep them more honest than they have to keep us. And I think we get to play around a little more because of that. Atlanta. Moving on to the Cardinals and Bills. This is interesting, actually. These are 2 interesting teams. Let's talk about the Bills first. Josh Allen, you know who that is. Great NFL player, absolute NFL player. Not even just a quarterback, that's an NFL player. He's gonna will his team to many wins this year. That's just the kind of player he is. His defense, though, is full of questions. There's gonna be a lot of new starters, a lot of unexperienced starters. So there's gonna be a lot of edges a lot of edges as a whole. Not like the term, I don't like the position. Edges to work around, like rough patches. That's a better way to word it. This would be rough patches for the defense. I don't think that their offense is going to click immediately. I think it's going to take a little bit of gelling, a little bit of figuring out what works with what doesn't work with certain defenses. Because they went through James Cook and Dalton Kincaid last year, and a little bit of stuff on Diggs that faded off at the end there. Because mostly those 2 players. I don't love an offense funneled to those 2 players, because James Cook seems to have a history of dropping the ball a lot, and Kincaid's a tight end, which that's fine, but you need a little bit of a vertical threat with those 2, with a tight end, in my opinion. Or have the tight end be someone who just absolutely annihilates coverages, like Travis Kelce type. Kincaid's that. I think Kincaid is more of the athletic, can make everything work, and can read his own a little bit. I don't think he's all that out of bag of chips like he would need to be. It's gonna be a rough year for the Bills. I don't think they're gonna miss the playoffs per se immediately. I thought they would last year. They still did, obviously. But I think I'm gonna pick the Cardinals just because I do think that this is one of their matchups that actually favors them. Their O line, it should be better than the Bills' D line. Their receiving core should be competent enough to at least get a little bit of points off of the Bills. Their running backs are not great, but they're more experienced than the linebackers are, so they should get at least like one more yard unexpected plays than they should, which adds up to more first downs, which adds up to more time possession, which usually wins games. Um, I think their defense is in the same boat. Young and not very good or proven, but their defensive coordinator, their head coach is a defensive coordinator that I think is more competent at scheming players than McDermott is. I think he's a good defensive head coach too, though. But I think what is his name? Gannon is more efficient. Not efficient, is better at defensive scheming. The Seahawks are a competent team on the rise. Broncos are a team in flux that's figuring out a path. The Seahawks signed McDonald, Mike McDonald, if I'm not mistaken, their new head coach, who was the defensive coordinator for the Ravens. I think he's very good. I think he knows what he's doing, and he drafted a defensive tackle with his first pick as the head coach, which means that guy is going to be fucking good. Dirty line had a bunch of players that were kind of on the rise and could push to be stars, but are more so gonna be consistent plus players on their D line, which that adds up. And if you turn that with the Ravens kind of scheming, that is a successful what's it called? Scheme, idea, theory. There's no other words for it. It's successful for that defense. Linebackers, I don't know shit about Seattle's linebackers, but hey, they don't have Bobby Wagner anymore. Cornerbacks, I really like. Safeties, I don't know who they have, to be honest, off the rip, but if they feel comfortable moving on from Diggs, that usually is a pretty good thing, and McDonald has a history from the Ravens of knowing safeties pretty decent, so I think I trust their defense. I do think they'll be competent, but they're in the NFC West, which is a rough division. Broncos, I'm a Sean Payton hater. Shocker, I'm a Falcons fan. That comes with the territory, right? I think he's actually helping this team more than I'm wanting to admit. I think Cortland Sutton can fulfill the Michael Thomas role in a similar way. Bo Nix, I don't love him as a first round pick, but I do see the value in doing it and just not having to worry about somebody else coming up and taking him, and then you having to get Rattler later if you don't like Rattler at all. I feel like if you thought any similar at all, you could have just waited. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about the team, the draft strategy. I think they're going to be a team that just gets about 3 yards on every play. Sometimes it's going to turn into first downs. Sometimes it's not. And I think that's just how it's going to work. On defense, though, I think they're going to be a team that allows about 6 yards per play. They don't have linebackers. I'm sorry, they do have linebackers. It's the only thing they seem to have. They don't have defensive linemen. They don't have safeties. They don't have... I take it back. They have corners. They have corners. They also have one of the best corners in the whole league, Patrick Surtain Jr., but that's one of the lone superstars on their team. O-line's decent. I will say that. Their O-line's decent. Tight end room isn't bad. Receivers, they have room to improve, and they have some upside to them. So, like I said, it's not an all-around bad team, but it's definitely not a competent team off the rip. What this team is currently doing, they're playing to find super future players, future starters for them. The ones that play well will survive to the next season, and then so on and so forth until they have a few players that they actually like and can build around, and or superstars potentially through the draft if they get it correctly. They, like I said, they're a team in flux versus the team that's trying to push in a new direction quickly and fast. Cowboys, Browns. This one's a tough one too. This one's a tough one. This one's a tough Cowboys are supposed to be a juggernaut on offense. I don't see them being a juggernaut. I do love CD and I do love Dak as together and separate. Um, don't love their running back situation. I like their O line enough to make me think that it won't really matter who their running back is. Um, but their defense doesn't inspire me like it did last year. I don't know who the linebackers are. I don't know. I don't know. They might be good. Who knows? I don't know. Um, Wilson, Matt, is striking his name. I might be mistaken. I think they're gonna allow the run. I think they're just gonna get ran through. Um, their defensive line is good on the outside. Their defensive tackle group is kind of just like a bunch of guys who are gonna be okay at doing it. So that's usually good. But sometimes you won't have a player to depend on. You won't have a player to step up in situations where you're just kind of getting gapped. Um, their secondary is fine. I can't recall of any notable additions that I love. They're gonna struggle on defense, and I think Dak's gonna put up a bunch of points, which I think he's capable. I think they're capable, but outside of CeeDee Lamb, I don't see a option that scares the defense. Jalen Tolbert is an unknown player, and you don't want to rely on that. And he's also a fifth round pick or something like that. Um, Brandon Cooks, he's aging. He's fine. He's fine. He doesn't scare anyone at his age anymore, I'm sure. CD, excellent. Excellent player. Take him out of the offense. This offense turns his whole team into a like bottom 3 team, bottom 10 team, bottom 10 team. Let's take that. That was a little hyperbolic with that CD quote. Browns, competent, real competent team. Defensively, solid. Competently on the field and play calling wise, incompetently in the scheming of who to get on their team and for how various ways. That being said, every day I wake up and I say, "Thank you God, and thank you Cleveland Browns." And the reason I say the second one is because they took Deshaun Watson from the Falcons, and man, that would have been very hard on my morals, and I would have had to figure some things out. But I don't have to do that because the Cleveland Browns. Um, picking the Jets versus the Niners, Trent Williams just agreed with his deal. They get enough. I don't think Aaron Rodgers has gelled enough with that offense to, especially number 1 receiver, Mr. Wilson, to make it worth without any sort of struggle for that team. As the 49ers, I think, are a competent team and are going to handle themselves every week, regardless of who they play. The Jets are defensively a team that can make them struggle, but they will still be functional as they are just so. And I think defensively they will be good enough against Mr. Aaron Rodgers and Breece Hall. I do think the Jets will be a good team this year, though. Also, go back to the Browns real fast. The defense is very good. Just I need to look more at their defensive linemen and see who they have there. Because I'm Miles Garrett, and I know I don't tackle there anymore. His name is escaping me, and it's gonna bother me. But they have good corners, good linebacking core, and I can't. Their safety is what is it? Petrie? No. That's the Texans. What's his name? Delpit. I don't know much about Delpit. Still, I remained ignorant on Delpit, but he seemingly is pretty solid. Niners, solid in every core, to be honest. They got take Trent Williams out of the offensive line core, and they just turned into decent at best. Turn quarterback's okay. I love Purdy. I think he's good. I think he's good. I think he's perfectly fine. I don't think he's much of a needle mover, but he definitely doesn't needle move in the negative direction, which that's great. Receiving core, I love Ayuk. I think Deebo's overrated. I think he's a playmaker, but I don't think he's a great receiver. I think if you take him out of the system that Shanahan gets broken so often for, I think it makes it harder for him to produce. I'm going to Packers, Eagles, Packers. Oh, there's a game on Friday too. Dude, what? And it's news Thursday. I'm working my other jobs on Thursday. I was like, oh man, I missed the game. Watch. I was like, it'll be slow by that happens anyway, and I probably get to leave, so it'll be fine. And then now I'm seeing there's a game Friday too. Heck yeah. I don't want to miss any of this game at all. I hope this one's a good one too. I think it will be because I think the Packers are an extremely well coordinated offensive group with a group of players who are just perfectly above mediocre, like perfectly plus players. Josh Jacobs is fine. He's cool. He's gonna turn those few plays into like he's gonna get like every 1.2 extra yards in a play, which is it's real good for a running back that you didn't have that was already doing that. So it's cool. I think Aaron Jones is more of a home run hitter, and Josh Jacobs is more of a getting the yards every time kind of back. Which I think they made the right call on, but morally they did not. We're talking about football, not morals. Defensively, I think they're going to be bad. I think they're going to go through a shift because they moved on from their defensive coordinator last year, who they obviously have not liked and did not like for a while, apparently. I do think that if you have all this struggle historically, and you just add a new defensive coordinator, it's just not going to be like, wow, we have a great defense. No, it's not how it works. You have a new dice roll for a good defense, but the dice roll still takes into account players that you have on the roster and had already had on the roster. Like Rashawn Gary is a good player. Rashawn Gary's fine. I heard a Packers fan tell me Rashawn Gary he expects Rashawn Gary to make defensive player of the year every year, and I just, knee-jerk reaction was just why? I said it in a kind of rude way. I really didn't mean it in a kind of rude way, but what has he done that he can be like, yeah, that's a future defensive player of the year? Yes, he's very athletic, and yes, he can get the quarterback line, but he's not consistent. He hasn't shown much consistency, much to believe in a consistency either. Same can be said for Quay Walker, who he's super athletic and can make like real good plays, but man, is that man stupid? Like. And that's your play caller on defense. I don't think that's going to bode well. Okay, I lied. Play caller on defense is a safety they just assigned who's probably very good. I think he's going to get better. I don't think he's excellent right now. I think he's very good right now. I think he'll become excellent. Or has the potential to become excellent. I think Jair Alexander has games where he is excellent, but there's certain receiver types he does not match up well against. And it's big receivers. Not match up well against him. He's real good at keeping up with the light-footed players because he's got light feet. But if you can kind of put him on your heels, albeit like as a bigger guy, he's gonna do that. He's not gonna. He doesn't have the sturdiness to not step on his, not fall on his heel to regain his balance kind of thing. And I think most big receivers know that. There's just certain players and certain player types that just do not get covered by Shire. I think he's great for him. I think he's great. I don't think he's the best in the league. No. But I think he's in discussion for it. If you want to include tertiary players, like the best corner in the league. The way I think about it is like you can have a conversation. Like, who's the best corner in the league? That's entirely a different conversation than who are the top 5 corners in the league. Because I think it's like a gap between 2 and 3, maybe even 3 and 4. Patrick Surtain is number 1 to me. He's easily number 1 to me. Um, I think AJ Terrell is not number 2. I think he's up there. I think he's around like 10, maybe. He said he flirts. He flirts with. He has had a year where he was the number 1, but he has not come back to it. So it can't be like he's like he's in top 10. It can be like he's flirts with top 10, or around like 9ish to 10ish. But I can't remember his name. I don't want to go through the entire NFL right now to try and think about it, but I think I could if I needed to. Let's try it. East. I think Jalen Ramsey still, even at that older age. Only Tariq Woolen and Witherspoon over in Seattle, but I don't think either of them have played the game to go on. Sauce Gardner is who I'm thinking about, and I do think he is number 2. Um, he's incredible at press. I think he's the best press we have outside of Snead. So I think Snead's bread and butter is pressed. But Sauce doesn't get called for pass interference or holding nearly as much as he should. And it's because of how good he is at hiding that with his technique, which is a part of the game in itself, so you have to commend that. If he's guarding a lighter receiver, a smaller receiver, or shiftier receiver that isn't super light, then he's gonna get well, he's gonna get fucked up. He's got the speed to make up for it, and he's got pretty good ability to make up for it too. But if there's a receiver that is big enough to cut and at the same time use their strength to break out of his grasp, he will not be able to stay with them without making a more obvious tug at the player. If they're a lighter player, he can kind of just put them back into where he wants them. Like if there's a like let's just say there's a player along the legs of a Rondale Moore or a Khalil Shakur, if I remember his height correctly. Not a bigger guy, but a shiftier fellow. If he is, let's say, running a 10-yard dig from the outside, he runs that 10, and as he's like breaking down and is about to run that inwards in motion, Sauce is breaking down and about to run that same thing as well with him. But he's also tugging, like sitting on the inside of him a little bit, and putting his weight onto the receiver to where he cannot go through him, he has to trail with it. And it could even be used where he makes them have to like almost run around him. Then you got guys like, let's say, Devontae Adams, because he's gonna run that slant, he's gonna set up the chuck to the outside and break it off back in. And Sauce isn't going to bite too hard on the outside on that edge and back out because he knows what he can do and he knows he'll be able to make up for it in deep speed. So he can sit there and make it more honest with him. But when they both cut inward, unless Sauce is going to maintain that prime positioning the whole time, which is very difficult on an excellent route runner, then he is going to be in a spot that is going to be reliant on him kind of holding or maintaining his space with the receiver there. And if the receiver is strong enough, like say Devontae Adams is in this scenario, he'd be able to ignore the kind of body hold that Sauce would be trying to give off. And the only way it would be there is if the only way it would be maintained is if he makes a pull or tug that is obvious enough to get called, or he like falls. This is incredibly longer. Oh my gosh, a tangent that I meant it to be. Vibes say Eagles. logic says Packers. I'm a vibes-based picker, usually. I'm gonna go with the Eagles. I think their D-line is okay. I think their linebacker core, meh. I think their secondary's above average, and I think it can keep up enough with them to make it so Love doesn't have an easy time. I think he will still be able to find the open target, especially if he uses the tight ends. But I do think the Eagles offense will have an easy time against the Packers defense. Easier time. I think they'll be able to run the ball consistently. I think Hurts will be able to get to the open receiver consistently with their good offensive line. Even if it's not making like chunk plays, I do think they will make consistent gains. So I do think the Eagles will beat the Packers here. Also, they're wearing black helmets and black pants, which is a new, not new, but it's an alternate kind of uniform for them. New place. That's got vibes to it. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think the Saints are bad. I think the Saints are going to be one of the worst teams in football. I understand they historically have had excellent defenses. I get that. Want you to understand also that they don't have shit. Hello, back. They don't have shit on the line. Cam Jordan's old. He had 4 sacks last year. You can be like, oh, it's because he didn't have any help. Okay, well, did they get him any help again? No, they didn't. Okay, sorry, like Chase Young, quote unquote help. Not in my book. He's an all or nothing kind of player. He's an Adrian Claiborne plus. If he can get to the quarterback that week, he's going to do it again maybe. But if he doesn't, then he's not touching anybody all game. Defensive tackles are ass. They might play above their level because Dennis Allen's a competent defensive coordinator. Their linebacking group is actually very good. And their corner group is actually stellar. Maybe the best in the league as a whole group. Safety group is also not bad. I don't love Tyrann Mathieu. I think he's overrated, especially the passing game. I think he's a real good run defender, as a passing defender. He's okay. I think May's still there. I'm not certain. I do know that they usually have a pretty good tandem now. Going back to Carolina, new OC, okay, new offensive scheme, but new head coach. 2 new guards. It's important to me. 2 new guards. Bryce Young's biggest issue was pressure in front of his face, and that tiny little man needs the room to throw. He needs room to step into his throws, or else his throws are going to be reliant on his back foot and his arm strength. He does not have the arm strength of Justin Herbert or Drake May. He's not built like those guys. Okay? So he has the touch. He has to put the ball in the bucket in a moving bucket 35 yards downfield. He's got that. He's also a very good reader, and he's a little bit elusive behind the line of scrimmage. One-on-one. If there's 2 defenders there, he just folds and just kind of breaks like a bad lawn chair. But if there's one guy, he can kind of juke him in a little bit. He makes a move on him and then get a throw off. It's kind of impressive. I do like him for that and for his touch. If the OC that they brought in, Dave Canales, who's now going to be the head coach, if he can scheme receivers open in ways that make it easy for Bryce to hit, and the 2 new guards do not allow pressure immediately in his face, I think that they have a working offense. And I think that's something that is kind of scary. Not necessarily off the rip, but going into the next season, going into the season, how it evolves, how it changes, how little wrinkles you add to it. clearly planning for the future when they drafted that new running back who's not going to see the field until week 3 after they drafted him. They probably knew that too, so they know this is not for this. This is going forward for our team, and so they expect it to not be a stellar off the rip. Defensive wise, I think is why they're thinking that. Cornerback group is not great. Linebacking group is okay. It's probably their best defender at the moment outside of their defensive tackle. Safeties are, I don't know, they moved on from Shins. Maybe they're playing better. But their secondary, their corner group needs help, their linebacker group needs help, and their defensive edge group definitely needs help. However, their defensive tackle group is pretty decent, especially because Brown is a monster. And I think when you put those two equations together, mixed with some divisional bullshit, and you have to apply the Derek Carr X factor of being ass once again, or showing his ass, showing his ass, I should say. I'm gonna pick Panthers. Vikings, Giants. Huh. This is really an underwhelming game, huh? Well, Vikings and Giants, neither team is good, neither team is scary. Vikings are a sneakily bad team this year, as I do think that their way that their like team is set up is not cohesive to a winning formula. They are built to pass the ball with their very good offensive tackles and very meh offensive guards. Or very, whatever. I'll stick with it. And defensively, they have one of the worst cornerback groups in the whole league. Safeties, they're still starting Harrison Smith. So, and linebacking core, I feel like is probably the actual strength of that group, surprisingly. They did draft Dallas Turner, who I do like. I don't necessarily think he's going to be great for them because I don't see the Vikings offense putting themselves in position to score a lot of points. I don't think the Vikings offense is going to put themselves to score a lot of points, and then in return, and part of that, I don't think that they are going to allow their defense to pin their ears back. I think Clark's going to be a fine run defender, but I don't think he's going to be able to be as good as he will be without the ability to fully just commit to the pass rush, especially at least as a rookie. Because you don't get to get fully in the set. He's a speed runner, speed edge. Might work next year. Really could. It's going to be a bumps and bruises type of year for the Vikings. That being said, it's going to be a slog for the Giants. Where the Vikings don't have any strong positional excellence as a whole. Like they have great tackles, but their offensive guards and center, I guess, are a little bit weak. The receivers are pretty good, but they don't have the quarterback to throw to them. At least they consistently like they do. Running back, Aaron Jones is fine. I like him, but Ty Chandler is not great. And Aaron Jones, they need guards to fill the ball. Not a great defense. But when you get to the Giants, they're built differently than that. Receiving group, they got Malik Neighbors. That's about it. Wandale Robinson might be productive. Then we got who is it? think about other groups that are exemplary for them, other than the one that I'm thinking of. Offensive line is a troublesome group. They got a little bit better at times, but it's still bad. Then you go to their defense. Their secondary's fine, like above average, I guess. Even though they just lost McKinley, I expect them to be competent in the safety room. Linebacking core is okay, nothing great, nothing stellar. Their defensive line is one of the best in the league, and that's I think it's a very easy assumption to make. Remember, it's at edge. Kayvon Thibodeau at edge 2 instead of edge 1 makes a big difference in terms of how much pressure that he will be able to produce, because he feasts on lesser competition. He does not beat good tackles, but he will beat the lesser tackle that starts in front of him for sure. The defensive tackle group of Dexter Lawrence and Leonard Williams. Leonard Williams is a Seahawk now. I can't remember who it is. But just excellent D-line group. And I think that is going to kind of drag them to that win. I think Daniel Jones gets a worse rep than he deserves. I don't think he's great. I think he's fine. I just don't think you want to attach your team to that long haul, especially with the team where this team currently is. Being said, get ready to learn Pittsburgh. Get ready to learn Yinzer, Mr. Daniel Jones. Washington, Tampa. Washington is one of the worst rosters in the league. They have a good coach now, in my opinion. I definitely don't think that that will be enough to teams that are actually competent. I think it'll make them like swing haymakers, and it'll win occasionally. Because I like Jaden Daniels, and I like their wide receiver. Well, I like their wide receiver. Period. Barry McLaurin. If they run the ball a bunch, they might work. I think they're gonna have some bumps and bruises again this year, but I do think they're gonna be a year with for promise. I feel like it's gonna be a year similar to the Broncos, but I think they're gonna be more competent because of how many older players they have on their roster. That being said, they still have a bunch of holes, even though they did sign a bunch of players. The Rams, the Buccaneers are just a competent team. Baker's good. Offensive line is good, if not getting better, which means it can become great. Defensive line group's fine, nothing crazy in the edges, but their defensive tackle group is consistent. Linebackers are consistent. Safety group is very good, and the corners are very good quietly. So, defensively, very competent team, and offensively, solid team. Running back room isn't great, but it is productive. And the receiver room is great, but it has been questionable productive, at least due to injuries. And also, another note I want to bring up is they might not be as productive or as smooth on the offense, especially at the beginning, given that they lost their offensive coordinator to a divisional rival as a head coach in Dave Canales. Moving on to the Rams and the Lions, I do think that hold on a second. Hello, Mr. Bamed. Got a white noise. Is this the white noise? Is it like a buzz? I think. Okay, I'm gonna discuss it right here, right now. I think there's an issue with the room that I've been recording in. This is my studio room, in my apartment. Is the mic better now? Let me know if it is. Let me know if it isn't. I'm trying to look at where it is on this little thing here, but there's a little buzz that I think is from next door. I haven't been able to figure out exactly it's coming from. It's like in the walls. It's not like a buzzing. It's not like I'm going crazy. I'm promise I don't have the Phantasm syndrome. Um, but I do hear like a buzz, and I think there's some sort of mechanical device that's either used on the other side or is installed into like the walls kind of thing. It might even be like a heater. My battery's really low on this. I'm not too much recording anyway. I don't know what it exactly it is. I'm gonna figure out a way to record in the other room. I kind of already have everything to work things for it. I wish I could do. I can do it. I can do that. But I'm sorry about the white noise with the buzzing. Let me know if that is that. Been worrying about it whenever I'm recording ASMR as well. So I make a poll about it. Okay. Well, that means that's done. Let's just go ahead and take my face out of this. Let's just take my face out of it. Let's do that. How's that working? That looks fine, right? I'm sure it looks fine. Okay. This game. Okay. Back to the last prediction. Rams, Lions. You can't see it, but I'm looking at the camera still. Lions are going to be a better, talented team. I think the Lions are going to be more well run. Because I think the Lions are they're gonna swing their haymakers, and in the action of doing so, will get them off balance with their swings, and they can be taken advantage of by a team that's executing properly, which the Lions might be doing, or which the Rams might be doing. As they have excellent quarterback play, really good receivers consistently, really good schemes consistently, which will get working wide open against the Lions defense, which I expect to be better. But the Lions offensive line should be able to produce against the Rams defensive line. They also are missing their defensive coordinator who went to Atlanta. I do think Lions are going to be closer to what they were last year, and if not a little bit better to start the year than the Rams are. I think the Rams are a team that could get better, could become what they are by the end of the year, because they're going to have some younger players that are stepping into some more roles, like Mr. Jared Verse, who I'm very high on. But I do think the Lions do win this game. And there you have it, folks. This is my week 1 predictions. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. I will be making more of these as the weeks move forward. I will be making the season predictions, the full season predictions for division by division very soon. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you come around again. This is the end of the stream. At least I think it will be. Feel free to make any sort of comment, because I am about to end it now. I do see I have some more people who have followed, which is very nice of y'all. Very nice of y'all. Hello. If I have any more issues, especially with the mic. It's like you said that there is a little bit of a buzz, or so I'm trying to make sure that is not consistent. I did drop my gain, try and see if that works better. Let me know. I will be trying to stream more video games. I had mic issues, and I didn't get a new mic to do it. Tell me now in the comments if you hear any more buzzing, if there's any more white noise. Because the white noise might be coming from my computer. And if it is, it's very possible. And if not, then it's, I don't know. Because right now, there's nothing. Right now I hear no buzzing. Right now there's no sound outside of my computer. Is it still like that right now, Mr. Meowdy? Because if it is, then If it's still on currently, then that is my laptop. Yeah. Okay, then that means it's my laptop. I think the solution might be to move my microphone away from it. I have two microphones within my reach at the moment. I was filming with one. You can't see it because I moved my face away from the thing because I don't have a camera. Okay. I know what I'm doing. I know what we're doing. Thank you for staying here. Yeah, it's a bit uglier because it's literally just my camera, my laptop webcam. Um, but I've got this microphone here that I can use. That I don't, but I also got my regular ASMR microphone that I need to use, and I have it down here. Um, try using this. I think that actually might be the ticket. Let's try it. Let's try it. Okay, how's this volume? Can you hear the little thing? Like the fan sound still going? Can you hear that still? Less. That's improvement. Cool. Um. Okay. I guess I'll use this one going forward for that. That makes sense. If I move it further away, I should also make it a little better. Make it a little easier. I've also this also probably looks a little better, a little more professional. Probably sounds better too now that it's so close to my face. Well, like I said, this is fiddling. This is learning. I appreciate you, Mister Meowdy Partnip. Uh, this has been week one predictions. I'll be back soon with more for I looked over here. I'm right over here now. I'll be back soon with more AFC and NFC predictions and overall season predictions. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for your time and for dealing with a little bit of nonsense that this is. So, have a good rest of your night. Sweet dreams. Goodbye.